Hey guys, Abby here. How are you guys doing today? Today I am bringing you some information on how to avoid having an emotional attachment to your bull. Um, One of our previous videos, a few videos ago, actually kind of sparked inquiry for me because it was about a woman who said she was starting to catch feelings for her bull, and was looking for some advice. So I searched around a little bit, naturally, you know, um, and found quite a few articles on women from women who had suggested ways to avoid this if that's what you're wanting to do, is avoid um, becoming emotionally attached to your bull. So let me get started lit up here. And all you hot wives out there, have any of you had this happen to you? Have you ever fell for your bull, become emotionally attached? Let me know. Share your story with me. Send it to hout.abby@gmail.com. You can see your story shared right here on our channel. If you have any advice for this woman, don't care to share a story, have some words of advice, any additional information you can offer that I haven't put here, feel free to put it in the comments. And I will share some of my personal experience with you on this subject. And, you know, and what I think about it, whether it be good or bad. But I will do that later on in the video. So here is some of the tips that I found, and a little bit of a story that I found um, that someone had written. Um, the woman said, I am going to share my experience of falling for a bull, what I learned, and how I've avoided it from happening again for the last 5 years. In my first year of being a hot wife, my husband and I were so new, didn't really understand how it all worked, and we made quite a few mistakes. We wanted to do everything right at the start by keeping our private life and kink life separate, following tons of rules and keeping safety in mind. This didn't work so well because once we started playing more frequently, the rules had changed. Mistakes began happening, and it all became one big blur. We are very honest with each other and make sure to communicate everything, so that wasn't an issue. And until I began seeing one particular bull every week. And this was a result of having numerous guys flaking on us. Hotel room booked, I'm ready, and boom, a text an hour before the date, and that's if they texted at all. We began to let actual emotions into our tango only arrangement, and my husband thought it was hot to have me fall for someone else, so we all played our part. My bull and I spent nights together, joked, watched movies, etc. To start with, it was just a part of the kink, but then I began to think about him in more of a let's cuddle and watch a movie sort of way, and in that moment, I knew I had to break things off. We got into deep, and things became awkward, and my husband had a lot of cuckold regret. Not to say that having feelings isn't normal, by all means, it is, and it's an amazing and exciting part of this lifestyle. There would be no point to it otherwise if you didn't have emotions. But being careful to feed the right emotions and not the wrong ones is important, in my opinion. Feeling lust for a guy, feeling good that a hot, smart guy wants you, or that thrill of someone new is perfectly fine to feel as a hot wife and a cuck too. But it's a fine line between that and thinking about your bull 24/7, about doing things behind your cuck's back, wanting to do more than just tango with your bull, and beginning to develop real, actual emotions, or seeing your bull as a potential partner, lying to your cuck, and that's when you know things have gone too far. Here are just a few steps to help avoid these feelings if that's not the end goal for you and your cuck. Number one, talk about what becoming a hot wife means to the both of you. It's you and your husband, that is. You and your cuck. Is it to explore your sexual side with different men? Do you have a high sex drive you're trying to feed? Um, does it feed your husband's kink to be a cuck? Um, if it's wanting to feel like falling in love again, this might not be the kink for you. Playing too close to that emotional fire could get you burned, especially if that's not what you're after. What is it you want from this lifestyle? Is it a group tango, threesomes, dating, one nighters, lifestyle clubs, bigger man parts, chastity, bisexual play, cleanup, etc.? What is it that really turns you on and makes you want to become a hot wife to begin with? What are the things that you don't want? And this is just as important to narrow candidates down to ensure that you find exactly what the three of you want. Enter the lifestyle with some clear boundaries and not haphazardly. This will help keep you from developing those feelings if you have clear, concise boundaries that both of you adhere to. Communication, rules, no deep talking, daydreaming about your bull, no overnight stays, having personal time with your husband. Outside of the kink, you are still a couple. Knowing the difference between lust and love, and if humiliation isn't something your partner asks for, don't do it. Knowing what kind of bull relationship you want. Do you want one that's one exclusive bull that you see a few times a month or long term? Or multiple bulls having one nighters, random hookups, or going to clubs, etc.? Next, picking the right bull for you. If you can't find an experienced bull that understands the intricacies of you and your partner's kink, and that is great if you can find that, as they will be more apt to go slow and help you grow in your fetish. Unlike a younger, less experienced bull who might not even know what they want from being a bull yet, and most likely won't be able to help you grow in any way because they are still learning too. Ooh. The fantasy of love. This is where the lines become blurred. A part of the thrill of being a cuckold is the fantasy that their hot wife will develop feelings and impulses to run away with her bull. Playing out that scenario can be fun, but most cucks really don't want that to actually happen. So when role playing, remember it's role play and not reality. Fantasy versus reality, know the difference. So if you've actually fallen in love with your bull, her suggestion is, of course, this happens sometimes, and it's a challenge you'll have to get over. Remember that you haven't stopped loving your spouse, but you've developed feelings for someone else. Nip those in the bud as soon as they arise. If it's too late or powerful, making a break from the lifestyle is in order so you can reconnect with your partner. Unfortunately, despite the best efforts, not every couple weathers this storm and do split. Know the risks and learn how to avoid them. So you ask yourself, why is having an emotional attachment to a bull bad? Loving and caring for your bull is natural and normal, but being in love or being attached emotionally can spell disaster. Here are some reasons it may be a bad idea to become attached to your bull. Players, some bulls like the idea of you falling for them, but don't actually want you in that way. Gotta watch out for the grass being greener effect. You think the grass will be greener being with your bull every day, filled with lust and excitement. 9 times out of 10, it never is. Another reason is it's a fantasy. Remember, this is a fantasy to be fulfilled, not to have an affair. Another is you need to remember is your bull is not your husband. The bull is dominating, sexy, and caring, but that's their kink and their role to play. Just as a hot wife or cuck is the role you're to play. Um, Knowing when to stop and keep it a fantasy. Role playing is fun, and there are ways to go about it without risk. Take a break and focus on your relationship with your husband if you need to. How to stop your bull falling for you. This happens at times if you find yourself playing with younger bulls, first timers in the lifestyle, or if you spend a large amount of time with a single bull. The idea is hot, but the reality is sometimes jealousy, ultimatums, tone, and energy changes towards you or your husband and can ruin the fun. It isn't always possible to stop this from happening, but drawing clear lines and not going past them usually works. And does the tango always lead to love? Nope, not even. If you're a hot wife that needs a deeper connection to have enjoyable tango, this can certainly happen. But if you can look at a bull as a hot guy with great tools in the tool shed, enjoy it for what it is, a fantasy, and when the action is over, get back to real life and your spouse. So, are the things like breakups and wives running off with bulls and falling head over heels for your bull and starting affairs commonplace in this community and lifestyle? Of course they are. Cuckolding can blur the lines of what's okay and what's not and can mess with emotions on a deep level. So you do need to be very clear of your boundaries and limitations, and you need to be very adamant about sticking to them. Um, I feel like following a lot of these aforementioned steps will go a long way with helping you um, avoiding falling in love with your bull. Um, if that's what you, if that's not what you really want. Now, on the flip side of that, there are some couples, hot wives and cucks, that do like that to happen and do want that to happen. And if that's what you want for your relationship and your marriage and your fantasy and kink and experience, then that is great and go for it. Um, and nobody says you're wrong. As with all of these fetishes and kinks, we all have our own little nuances that make it our own. And finding someone who pairs well with that always makes for a great time. So, is one way or the other right or wrong? No. It's just a matter of what direction you want to take this experience to. It's kind of like, okay, we're cuckold and a hot wife. Now here's this fork in the road. Do we want emotions involved, or do we want to steer clear of emotions and let the tango be a tango, and that's where it ends? Those are two very clear lines that you need to draw, so that everyone knows their role, everyone knows their part in this play. Um, Hopefully, this sheds a little more light for you guys on this topic. And, if you're ladies, if you're a hot wife out there and you feel like you are starting to gain emotions for your bull and don't want to, um, hopefully, following some of these tips will help you avoid that. Um, that is all I have for you guys today. Feel free to leave any questions or comments you may have in the comments section, or send me an email. Have it read here on our channel along with my response and advice. And we will see you guys next time. Bye, everybody.